Hello everyone and welcome back to more Fate Stay Night. And we are moving on to day 12, interval level 4. So I should have filled this up more beforehand. I can already feel it's like this full right now. So that's not great. So yeah, we'll be playing more of this. I'm basically gonna be playing this right now while waiting for something to be ready on my well, that's coming out later tonight. So like I'm waiting for something to come out, and I don't know exactly when it's gonna come out. So I'm just playing Fate to kill time until then. So yeah, just letting you know ahead of time. That's my plan for how long to play. But if I end up recording for not long enough for a video, obviously I'll just record more later on a later date, and add it to this video as I always do. But it's kind of cool how much I've been playing of this game more recently. Like I've played this game more in the past week than I did for the whole first couple months playing this game, you know. So that's good. All right. The sky was still pale grey. Was it dawn or dusk? Also, my mouth is in a weird state today. Like I've got an ulcer in the back of my mouth and my teeth are aching. It's hard to tell, so if my reading is terrible, that's why. The vast sky overhead and a wide field stretching out on all sides. The sky seemed close enough to touch. Clouds low enough to grab hold of. This was one of the battlefields she fought on. But there was no longer any cavalry in her service. The sprawling golden meadow was gone. Instead, unfolding under the dull sky was the remnant of a battlefield. No emotion. She must have seen this kind of thing almost daily. Her desolate heart was empty. As she leaned against the golden sword, she exhaled deeply and let her shoulders relax. The battle must have ended. After glancing over the bodies of the defeated soldiers, she returned to her camp. Those were the battles she experienced. Her cold, calm demeanor remained unchanged. No matter the predicament she's been in, she remained just like the woman I've always known. And then I see the dream of a king. The moment she drew the sword, she stopped being human. She took over for her father as a feudal lord and became a king with many knights. She was known as King Arthur, and Altria, the life of the girl who once aspired to be a knight, changed so radically. She acted like she was the king's son. The ruler of territories and knights had to be male. Only her father and the mage knew this king was female. She covered herself in iron and hid that truth for the rest of her life. There were those who had their suspicions, but the king of knights who wielded the sacred sword knew neither injury nor age. Excalibur was blessed with the protection of the fairies, making its possessor immortal. As such, nobody questioned her tiny frame, which was much too small for a knight, or her face, which may have appeared girlish. Instead, she was hailed as a truly beautiful king. And in fact, the king was invincible. Neither size nor appearance mattered. Those who lived in fear of the savage invaders desired a strong king, and the valiant knights would follow only a truly superior leader. The king satisfied each of these conditions, and so nobody questioned the king's identity. It did not matter if the king was a child or a woman. All that mattered was that the king protected the nation. The new king was fair and selfless, and always stood on the front line, fighting and defeating the nation's enemies on the battlefield. Many enemies and citizens died, but the king was always just, and she played her role as king better than anyone else. There was no room to suspect otherwise, and any such suspicions would be pointless while the king was right in any case. She knew no defeat on the battlefield. Her army reformed the lost cavalry, and then charged across the battlefield, defeating foreign infantry and smashing through their defenses. Did she always stand on the front lines because her nation was behind her? Before she headed out to battle, she had to cast aside so many citizens. Once she was on the battlefield, she had to cut down all her enemies. As her battles were fought in defense of her nation, it was common to wring villages dry to support the army. In that sense, no knight killed as many as she did. I can't tell if she ever really did feel that burden. It's not something I can really know from a dream. But I do know she didn't have a moment's doubt or hesitation on the battlefield. Grief never touched her thoughts when she sat on the throne. A king is not human. Human emotions would make it impossible to protect people. She kept to her oath, never wavering. She addressed the issues facing her nation, and she worked on matters of political concern. She ruled without wavering, and she punished the deserving without error. And after winning so many battles, unifying so many clans, and punishing hundreds of criminals, King Arthur doesn't have a human heart. One of the kings in her entourage murmured this. Everyone must have felt the same way. The more perfectly she carried herself as a king, the more everyone questioned their monarch. There is no way someone devoid of human emotion can rule humans. Several reputable knights left the White Castle of Camelot, but the king accepted this as inevitable and incorporated it into her rule. And so, the fair king, once so admired by her knights, began to isolate herself. Such trivialities were of no concern to the king. Even if she was deserted, feared, or betrayed, her heart would remain unchanged. It couldn't be helped. The moment she took that sword, she abandoned her emotions. And then her final battle began. The battle at Badon Hill ended in a complete victory, and that inescapable conclusion led to the savage clans finally offering peace. And so the nation that had been holding its breath, waiting to be destroyed, knew a moment of peace. The age of warfare where a nation leaned on a singular hero came to an end. Britain was finally going to become the nation she'd always dreamed of. The scene starts to fade away. I realize the dream is ending and I'm about to wake up. I can feel myself drifting closer to wakefulness, but before that happened, something really pissed me off. She's stupid. Oh, she's strong and a gifted fighter, but there's a difference between being good at fighting and being cut out for it. The people around her pissed me off too. If she didn't notice it, someone else around her should have told her, or she would go on making the same mistake forever. Seriously, how the hell did she have so many people around her and not one told her the truth? I wake up. We escaped Illya's forests and returned home yesterday afternoon. Tosaka went back to her room complaining her stomach hurt and my headache wasn't getting any better, so we all decided to just go to sleep. It must have been the extra weight I was lugging around. As soon as I got into bed, I couldn't get back up. Sabre was the only one who seemed fine, and Tosaka and I left to guard the house while we slept. And then... So I slept for half a day. At least my headache's gone. I'm relieved. The whole thing with Berserker, the headache I got after copying Sabre's sword, was unreal. If it had kept up... Why is it capitalized there? If it had kept up, my head might well have split down the middle. Then I notice... Huh? Sabre's sitting on the floor right next to my head. Sabre? Why are you glaring at me like that first thing in the morning? Did something happen while I was asleep? No, I simply had a dream. No, it is nothing. Let us have breakfast. It is time to wake up. Was the dream similar to the dream that we had about you? Did you have a dream about our life? Sabre gets up and heads silently out of my room. Or no, did I just share your dream? I just had the dream about your life. And you had also had a dream about your life, maybe. What was that about? I don't know why Sabre's acting strange. I'm really not sure, but if she was sitting by my bedside the whole time, was she nursing me back to health? Don't get embarrassed. The moment I have that thought, the scene from last night comes back to me. What the hell am I thinking? I shake my head to rid myself of those impure thoughts. That night, my contact with Sabre was entirely about my duty as a master. If I don't rationalize it like that, I'll never be able to look at Sabre again. Calm thoughts, calm thoughts. We acted normal when we were coming home yesterday. That's all I need to do. No, I was actually just tired yesterday, but I still need to act normal. Besides, Saber wouldn't like me acting like this. Okay, I just need to calm down and make breakfast. I take a deep breath and get changed. It's 9 in the morning. Saber hasn't eaten since lunch yesterday, so she must be hungry. Right, let me refill my water. Okay. 9 is so late, it's practically not even morning anymore. As hungry as Saber must be, I should probably make a hearty breakfast. Shiro, is it just you and I this morning? Do we not need to wake Rin up? No, everyone's still asleep. Considering what happened yesterday, it's probably best to let them sleep. I'll leave their food out and they can eat whenever they like. I see. Then I would appreciate it if you prepared the meal quickly. It is much later than usual. I know. I feel better now, so let's head to the dojo once we finish eating. The dojo? Do you intend to continue your training with me? Why not? It's our daily routine. Look at that blush. What's wrong, Saber? Did I say something weird? Oh, no. I just assumed we would no longer be training. With Berserker defeated, I thought there would be no further reason for you to continue training as we had been. I see. You know, you may be right. The common enemy we all share in Berserker is gone now. We teamed up to take on an enemy far stronger than us, and that's also why I trained so furiously in such a short period of time. But I'd like to keep training. I'm still an untrained mage, and I get to see the real you when you wield a sword. It makes it easier for me to talk to you too. Well, I say easy, but what I mean is that I kind of enjoy it. Huh. So I reveal my true self when I am in the dojo. You sure do. At least you don't hold back. I prefer it that way. Besides, I think you get to loosen up as well. Anyway, our routine has been us sparring in the mornings. Don't take the few pleasures I have. It's kind of nice. I take the ground beef and pork, green onions, mushrooms, onions, and eggs out of the refrigerator and head to the kitchen. All I need is panko, sake, and cooking oil. Well then, I have no objections. Saber mumbles quietly to herself in the living room while I work. I can't quite hear what she's saying from the kitchen. Smack, smack, pound, pound. I mix onions, panko, sake, egg, salt with 400 grams of ground beef and pork and knead it all together. I've decided to be bold today, so I'm making stewed Japanese-style hamburg steak for breakfast. Rin, are you awake? Saber's voice drifts out from the living room. Tosaka? I glance back over my shoulder as I cook. Morning. Hey, I'm going to pour myself a cup of milk, Shiro. Tosaka comes in looking grumpy and grabs a carton of milk from the fridge. Slept too much. My head hurts. Hey, what's this? You're really going all out this morning, aren't you? Where'd that grumpy face she's been making a second ago go? Her eyes are practically sparkling now. All she needs is a bit of milk. Oh, that looks good. And here I was starting to get hungry. This is perfect. Is that so? Well, she's the one who gets to really enjoy herself here, not me. Reminds me of what my old man used to say. Someone gains, someone else loses. That is a Kuritsugu thing to say after he had his whole Grail experience. I've thought this before, but you've got a keen eye. Well, I'm just a discerning sort. Looking forward to this breakfast you're making, though. She waves as she heads back to the living room. With a glass of milk in one hand, Tosaka plops down on the table. Seriously, I don't know where she gets off acting like the king of the castle here in my house. You were certainly lazy today, Rin. Yeah, way to go, Saber. She's saying everything I wish I could. However, Tosaka dismisses Saber's criticism nonchalantly by disagreeing with her. Of course I'm lazy now. With Berserker gone, now we just have to deal with Caster, Lancer, and Assassin. They're nothing compared to Berserker. Should be a cakewalk for Saber. You do not know that. Defeating Lancer and Assassin may not be as straightforward as you think. And we have yet to meet Caster. Don't be so humble. No ordinary heroic spirit is any match for King Arthur. We've solved your magical energy problem, so there's no servant who can best you now. Saber narrows her eyes at Tosaka. I have the same reaction. We shouldn't let what Tosaka said just go by. Tosaka, do you know who Saber is? I had a hunch, but yesterday confirmed my suspicions. Only one hero can wield a sacred sword like that. I mean, I was a little surprised to learn that the legendary King Arthur was a girl, but I can't really argue against that when she's sitting right in front of me. Besides, legends are rewritten all the time, right? I don't know if Saber was the one who hid it, or if the people around her did, but I guess there was a problem with having a girl be king in medieval times. So I don't blame them for saying she was a man. Tosaka's tone remains the same. Saber at least doesn't seem to mind. If anything, she seems to agree with Tosaka. She certainly doesn't seem about to argue. She's basically acknowledged the fact. A hero with a connection to the sword is selected to be the Saber servant. Based on that alone, she would absolutely make for the best Saber. The heroic spirit of Britain, symbol. The wielder of a sacred sword so famous she's even known in this faraway land. But then, what of it? The legend of King Arthur ends with the king's death. Even heroes are still human. Their stories usually end in death, but no hero dies a proper death. King Arthur was no exception. If I remember correctly, King Arthur died in battle, at the Great Battle of Camlan. After unifying Britain and supposedly having no more foreign enemies to defeat, King Arthur was drawn into conflict with an unexpected army in the end. It was the treachery of her own army, the knight she vowed to protect and fought alongside for so long, that led to King Arthur's death. King Arthur defeated the army's leader, but took a fatal wound in the battle, and so entrusted her only surviving knight, Bedivere, with the task of returning the sacred sword to where it belonged. Travel across this bloody battlefield and over the hill. You will find a deep lake. Throw the sword into that lake. There you go. My thought of I remembered something about a sword being thrown into a lake. That's where it came from. But Bedivere did not fulfill that final duty. Fearing the implications of losing the sword, Bedivere falsely reported not once, but twice that he had thrown it into the lake. Each time, King Arthur once more ordered Bedivere to throw the sword away. Finally, on his third attempt, Bedivere was able to fulfill his king's wishes. It is said that King Arthur died after making certain the sword had been returned. So, Shiro, what do you plan to do now? Tosaka suddenly turns to glare at me. What do you mean, plan to do? I'm talking about that dangerous girl sleeping in the Japanese-style room right now. I told you to leave her alone, but you insisted on carrying her here. I also have something to say on the subject. Though she has lost Berserker, Illya remains a dangerous master. I question your decision to shelter her. Yep, you should have just left her with Kirei. The two glare at me as one. That's right. The moment Berserker disappeared, Illya fainted. She showed no signs of waking up, and I couldn't just leave her, so I brought her back home. Of course, Tosaka and Saber objected, so I carried her myself. A master who loses their servant either flees before another master kills him, or is protected by the church. Tosaka says we should let Kotomine take care of her, but I don't think that priest would take very good care of Illya, so I'm having her stay in one of our spare rooms. Shiro, your actions here are commendable, but it is dangerous to get involved with Illya. It is not too late. We may either send her to the church or seize her command spells. Saber's serious. Changing her mind won't be easy. Do you have a problem? We couldn't just leave her alone. Illya's just a kid, and she wasn't herself. I'd feel bad leaving her with Kotomine. You'd feel bad? How can you say that with a straight face after everything she did to us? I agree. You have too much empathy for Illya. She tried to kill you many times. The two are more united than ever. but I need to stand my ground. Illya was our enemy, but she never had any malice for us. As long as she has a good influence, she won't do any more harm. And I said this at the start. I'm not fighting to kill masters, I'm fighting to end the battle. I know that, but... Saber's tone softens, though she's clearly not convinced. But... Oh yeah? So you're going to forgive Illyasfield for everything she's done? Let me tell you something. She's attacked other masters, and you don't know how many masters she might have killed. You're going to save her even so? Well, yeah. Illya admitted she killed Shinji after I let him go. Shinji used Ryder to try to kill everyone at school. If that's what he did as a master, I suppose his death was inevitable. But Shinji was a friend of mine for years, and thinking of Sakura, I can't just write off what Illya did. But that means there's no chance at closure. Even if Illya is no longer a master, as long as she can reflect and feel remorse, I think we should save her. Okay, you might be right. But I, for one, won't ever forgive her for what she did to Archer. She killed my Archer. We're at an impasse here. We all freeze, staring at each other. But then, is she gonna come in? Yep. Oh, come on! All servants disappear in the end anyway. If you're so worried about that, you fail as a master, Reen. The very girl under discussion appears. Illyasfield. Hold it. I have no business with you two. I don't have any intention of fighting, so don't get so angry with me. Honestly, I'm embarrassed for you two, just as fellow ladies. You're older than me, but you're sorely lacking in manners. Illya shrugs, looking disgusted. Both of them. What did you just say? Saber and Tozaka are once again in sync. A whole new kind of intensity comes over them. Well, I'm not going to get into that with you. I don't have time to deal with the two of you right now. Illya turns from them to face me. Illya. I would like to thank you, Master of Saber. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for being so concerned about me, even though I was your enemy. I stare at Illya in disbelief. So sudden is this that even Saber goes quiet. Tozaka just keeps drinking her milk, giving Illya the stink eye. And then, Illya smiles that familiar smile of hers. Just kidding. Yep, you sure are my brother. She launches herself right at me and hugs me around the neck. What's going on? Tozaka spits out her milk. What the? I can almost hear the vein popping in Saber's forehead. Underhand him, you insolent fool! Saber rushes toward me. Illya twirls around, swinging to my back. Who's being uncivil here? A servant like you has no right to command me. I have neither obligation nor intent to obey you. If you will speak so brazenly, then you will remove yourself from Shira's presence this instant. I'm not listening to you! Hey Shiro, let's go do the same thing we did last night. You gave me a piggyback ride, right? Not on purpose. Illya spins around me. Great. Saber hurries after her, trying to catch her. This is bad. What specifically is bad? Well, it's just bad. The two can't stop glaring at each other. It must be because Tozaka's just watching from afar, but... She just wipes the milk off her mouth as if nothing is happening and says... Look, I don't care what you do, but if you keep that up, you're going to kill him. Eh? The two peer curiously at me. It's pretty clear. My neck's getting wrenched around. I now face the greatest danger of my life. Okay, well, the tension got broken pretty quickly. Let's review the current situation. The hamburg steak I'd been working so hard on is packed away in the freezer. First is Tosaka. She's being relatively quiet. She seems to be keeping a straight face, and it looks like she's just going to watch things play out, but who can say what she might be thinking to herself? What is it, Shiro? Illya's sitting next to me, and for some reason she looks like she's in a good mood. She's looking curiously around the living room, but it doesn't look like Saber or Tosaka are much concern to her. Whatever either of them might say is likely to go in one ear and out the other. And then there's the one I'm most concerned about. Saber. She's glaring anxiously at both me and Illya. She's not usually so fidgety and restless. It feels like I'm resting on a bed of nails. So I can't just leave things like this. I don't know what's going on to come of this, but I have to do something about the situation. Let's settle this. If we keep this up, it'll drag out until lunch. You're right. We've already come to a conclusion, so we should get rid of the problem as soon as possible. Isn't that right, Saber? That is correct. Rin and I are in agreement, so we just need to convince Shiro. Saber's really digging her heels in. Huh? Hey Shiro, what do Rin and Saber want to talk out? They want to talk about what we should do with you. You lost your servant, so we want to know what you plan to do from now on. There's only two obvious options. Either take her to the church for shelter, or send her back to the castle in the forest. Her staying here is out of the question. It's my fucking house. Do you feel the same way, Shiro? Illya looks at me, her face emotionless. I'm not taking her to the church. What's wrong with you? Kurita always told me to protect girls, and I don't like seeing kids suffer. Well, I think Illya should stay here. The Holy Grail War isn't over. I want to shelter Illya until the last of the masters are taken care of. Yep, if Shiro says so, I'll stay here. Hey, Illya, you're choking me. I can't breathe. I intend to pry off Illya from me, but before I get a chance, Saber steps over and does it for me. What's with you? You've been getting in my way this whole time. Do you have some sort of problem with me? Of course I do. I will never forget what you did to Shiro. And you, Shiro, do you still not understand that nothing good will come of sheltering Illya's field? What about it? Illya doesn't have a servant anymore, so she's not dangerous. She's no longer a master. Besides, how would you feel if she got attacked after we abandoned her? Illya's life would be in danger, and the other masters might gain power from her. Yes, that might be true, but... Saber hesitates. No matter what she says, Saber understands that another master might attack Illya if we leave her alone. Then it's my turn to argue. I'm sorry to jump in after you've convinced Saber, but I don't agree. Look, Shiro, she's still a master. She may have lost her servant, but I also told you that as long as she has command spells, she's still a master. She says that. Well, we gotta cut off her hand. Actually, no, aren't her command spells all over her body? So we can't even do that. We've gotta pry off her skin. Oh, that's awful to think about. Tosaka just butts in while she sips her tea. What's that supposed to mean, Tosaka? I'm saying that as long as she has her command spells, she can form a contract with as many servants as she wants. There are stray servants who don't have masters, and as long as a master has the capacity to take in that stray servant, they can form contracts with as many as they want. What the heck? So if there's a capable master around, they can form contracts with as many servants as they want? Not exactly as many as they want. The Holy Grail can only call upon 7 heroic spirits, so 7 would be the maximum. Though no matter how capable a mage is, they couldn't have enough magical energy to power multiple servants. Even if they did, they would have to divide their own magical energy in half to supply the 2 servants. That would weaken the servants, which would make forming multiple contracts difficult and pointless. I see. So if I formed a contract with Saber and Berserker, they would have to split my magical energy between them to maintain their existence, which would drastically weaken both of them. Excuse me. That means it would make more sense to keep the one servant and supply them with magical energy. Now that you mention it, didn't you say servants could change masters? Is this what you meant? Oh, look at you, catching on for a change. And you're right, Shiro. That's how servants changing masters goes. A servant who's lost their master has some time before disappearing. So if in that time, they can find a master who's seeking a servant and form a contract, they'll be fine. Yes, so that's why you can't let your guard down with Rin, Shiro. She's still a master too. She might kill you and seize Saber, or she might form a new contract with another surviving servant. They're all trying to turn me against each other. Yep. And I couldn't say the exact same thing about you, Illya. Huh. That's not going to happen. I don't intend to team up with another servant. My servant is and will only ever be the Berserker. I don't know what kind of relationship Illya and Berserker had, but I do know that servant was special to her. That's a surprise, but at the same time it makes me happy. I'm happy to know that despite the fact that as master Illya was relentless, she still cherished her partner. Oh, but if Shiro loses, I'll take Saber. I won't let anyone other than Shiro win. But if Shiro loses, I'll win on his behalf. Illya says that proudly, just as she was starting to impress Saber and Tosaka. That is ridiculous. I am Shiro's servant. I have no intention of becoming your servant. Huh? Well, I don't care anyway. I just want Shiro to win. Whether I win or Saber protects Shiro, it's all the same to me. Huh? What a weird thing to say. Actually, if she wants me to win, why would she think like that anyway? And then, Tosaka must have found it strange too. She starts to think. I certainly mind. I will not approve no matter what. Rin, please warn Shiro yourself. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Tell him what, Saber? About how we are against sheltering Illya's view here. Oh, that? I guess sheltering her here wouldn't be a terrible idea. Huh? Saber freezes. I had advocated for this, and even I'm surprised. I don't blame the opposing Saber for being frozen in shock. Rin, have you lost your mind? No. If I think about this rationally, I see the risks are all the same. It doesn't matter whether we leave Illya alone, give her shelter here, or send her off to the church. It may even work out in our favor if masters come here looking for Illya. With Saber as she is now, she would be hard even for multiple servants to defeat if they attacked together. That'd be the fastest way to end this Holy Grail war, and that's what you want too, isn't it, Saber? But if you think you'd lose to other servants, that's another story. Of course not. You understand my condition perfectly. So long as Shiro is my master, I cannot be defeated. Right? Then us sheltering Illya isn't a problem. And there's something else. Shiro's decision might have actually been a really smart move. Tosaka goes quiet. She must have convinced Saber, who reluctantly takes a step back from Illya. Very good. It's funny. I remembered that Archer died, but in my head I hadn't really made the full connection that, like, since Archer died, Rin's no longer a master in this war. Yeah, I mean, we had the whole conversation about technically she still is, but you know what I mean. She doesn't have a servant anymore, because when she was like, "Oh, we just need Saber to win" or whatever, originally I was like, "Hang on, but don't we still have to fight you, Rin, at the end, even if we beat all the other servants?" But no, we don't, because Archer's gone, so Rin can't win anymore unless she, gets a new servant. We finish breakfast and then move to the dojo. Tosaka goes back to her own room while Saber follows me. As for Illya... Hey, are you really gonna do some sword training? She follows me to the dojo like we're joined at the hip. I was looking forward to hanging out with you today, Shiro. But Saber's in the way. It's boring here and I'm cold. Well, I'm not surprised Illya thinks this is boring. Watching someone train isn't exactly what I'd call exciting.
Let's go back to the living room. If you want to get stronger, I'll help you.
Illya takes one of my hands in both of hers and tries to tug me away from the dojo. But at least in this, I can't indulge Illya. No, I can't, Illya. I train every day, so I can't miss today. I'm not a proper maid, so I need to work hard to be ready to fight. Besides, if I train, I can protect you too, Illya. I decided to shelter you here, so I should train to help me do just that.
Okay, you may be right. But I really don't need you protecting me. You're my brother, so I just need you to be with me.
Saber's so pissed back there. It seems I failed to convince her. Illya tugs more aggressively at my hand. Saber watches silently all the while. Her eyes burn into the pair of us. She must still not approve of Illya being here. It's being more than a little cold towards her. And then our eyes meet. Good timing. I'll ask for Saber's opinion. I said I can't. Tell her, Saber. Tell her I train with you every day. There is nothing for me to say. You are the one who has brought Illya's view here. Persuading her is your duty, not mine. She's so pissed. I don't know why, but I guess she's really ticked now.
Oh, you know your place well, Saber. You don't need to train. The ones left are all weak, so you don't need to bother with this. Come on, Shiro, let Saber take care of the other masters, and we can just go play outside.
Whoa, hey, slow down. I lose my balance and feel myself being tugged around toward the dojo's exit. Hey, no, let go, Illya. I'm not going to indulge you this time. I'm not skipping my sword training. I'm going to stick to it. Sure, you might think it's boring, but I enjoy it. If you're going to complain, then go wait in the living room. I shake her off violently.
Ah!
She obviously didn't expect me to fling her away like that. Illya backs off, surprised, and looks at me nervously. Crap. I should have been nicer about it. Sorry, Illya. I was too rough with you. But I'm not going to give up my sword training. I'm sorry to leave you alone, but please stay in the living room. Aww. Illya sulks away towards the entrance, but stops by the wall. Huh? Is that a new... That looks like a new sprite.
Fine, I'll watch here. You won't mind that, right?
Illya suddenly roars in defiance. She glares our way, pitching a small tantrum. Well, I won't mind, but it's cold in the dojo, and there's tea and snacks in the living room for you.
I made up my mind, so it's fine. I'm not gonna leave Shiro and Saber alone here.
Illya huffs and turns her nose up. Oh well, you're more than welcome to go back to the living room if you get bored. At least things have settled down. I take the two shinai leaning against the wall and turn to face Saber. Then let's begin. It's been 3 days, so I might be a little rusty. Well, we fought yesterday. We actually fought. Hey, are you okay, Saber? You look a little dazed. Do you have a fever? Yeah. Oh, it's nothing like that. Saber turns away from Illya, furiously shaking her head. Did she just, like, think about the fact that Illya was like, I don't want to leave you two here alone, and she thought, us alone? So are you alright? Let's begin. Here's your shinai. Please, simply throw it to me. You mustn't approach me so haphazardly. We are only here to train. That's what I've been saying. What else would we be doing, Saber? I don't know. Maybe we're interlocking our swords and A little confused, I toss the shinai to her. Besides, I've never once landed a strike on Saber. I've never even gotten close to being within striking range of her, so Saber telling me not to come close seems odd. Saber takes the shinai, I toss her a bit awkwardly, and then lets out an audible sigh. Then let us begin. Things may not be the same as before, but please try to maintain your composure, Shiro. Saber glances at Illya as she speaks. I'll be fine. Once we've started, nothing will bother me. I grip my shinai and focus on Saber. She stands in front of me, shinai in hand. Now my attention is fixed only on her. We spend 2 hours training, then go on break as usual. This just reminds me how amazing you are, Saber. I nod approvingly and gulp some water from the kettle I brought along. I quench my thirst and wipe my sweat from my neck with a towel, which helps me to finally relax. Relax. I can't believe he drinks from a fucking kettle.
So that was your training? It seemed like it was just Shiro getting beat up.
At least so blunt about things most people would find awkward. It's not true, Illya. It may have looked like I'm just getting beat up, but it was actually worse before. In fact, I didn't pass out even once, so I'd say I did pretty well today.
Oh, really? But does that have anything to do with your skills, Shiro? From where I was sitting, it looks like Saber ignored plenty of opportunities to attack you.
Illya's expression turns thoughtful. She's sharp. I found it odd too, actually. Either Saber was holding back out of concern for me, or she isn't in top form. Whatever the case, Saber didn't go all out. Well, she may not always fight seriously while we're training, but she's always been merciless about exploiting openings before. Today she lacks drive, though. Normally she just rushes in and attacks hard enough to knock me out, but there was none of that today. You think so too, Illya? Maybe Saber's given up on me.
I didn't see it that way. But whenever Saber readjusted her grip on the Shinai to execute a follow-up blow, she just stopped and stepped back. I'm not sure why she did that. It wasn't like she was unwilling to attack, but more like she was scared or trying to hold back.
Saber would never hold back. If she had the compassion for that, she wouldn't have beat me so badly that first day.
Yeah.
Saber isn't the sort of person to hold back in training. That's why I was able to focus so completely on her weapon. What's gotten into Saber? This isn't training at all. It seems unbelievable, but did she go easy on me? No, I did not go easy on you. I was simply imagining myself facing off against a swordsman somewhat more skilled than Shiro as usual. Something's not right. Saber has to see it too. Yeah, I can't imagine you ever taking it easy on me, and I know you were being serious. But I think you were holding back. If you don't come right at me, this is pointless. Right at you? But that would mean I would be getting too close to Master. Depending on what happens, our bodies might come into contact. Well, we're sparring, so I guess we might bump shoulders or something. Besides, you used to slam your whole body into mine to knock me down because you said I wasn't defending myself well enough. And close combat is your specialty, Saber. Man, Saber's getting so horny lately. Did I do that sort of thing? That's kind of a weird question, but yeah, frequently. Remember how you just slammed me into a wall when we first sparred? And then you pressed your lips against mine and stuck your tongue in my mouth? I said you were pretty strong for a girl, and you said it was natural for a swordsman. Saber stands there dumbfounded. What's going on? Saber's acting really weird today. I'd hate to learn she isn't feeling well. I should talk to Tosaka later. We get back to our training, but it's still different than before. But after just a few strikes, Saber sets down her Shinai. Huh? Is this a new kind of training? She might strike me straight in the head the moment I drop my guard and get close. I breathe hard, watching Saber cautiously. Saber narrows her eyes, showing me that she's serious now, and steps forward. Shiro, let us have lunch. That's not like her. Huh? I lower my Shinai. Lunch? Is it that time already? According to the clock, it's a bit before noon. It's lunchtime for sure, but this is the first time Saber's been the one to step up and suggest it. Neither Saber nor I paid much attention to the time when we trained before. Is that true? I feel like in previous scenes, she's often been the one to say, hey, we should be taking a break now. Let's go have lunch or have some tea or whatever. Because she was like, you're overworking yourself. We'd take a break and then notice we were hungry. Then we'd check the clock and see it was about lunchtime. It's a good idea. I could go along with it easily enough. This is probably going to be a heart, whatever the heart. I'll get a heart. Let's have lunch. This might give me a heart with her. That's a good idea. It's a little early, but I guess I can start preparing. Is it early? It is almost noon, and by the time you have completed preparations, it will be lunchtime. Did I get a heart? There's no heart there. But it's not. It doesn't look like it's a heart event. by the looks of it. So we're probably fine. I'm gonna save it, and I'll be back in the same video. Okay, welcome back. I'm gonna play a little bit more right now. I don't know how long for. I could play for 10 minutes. I could play for 3 hours. I'm not sure. Well, I actually made us box lunches today. Everything's done and packed, so we just need to bring the bento from the living room and we can eat now. Wonderful. Then I think I can manage to hold out. Saber breathes a sigh of relief. What do you mean, hold out? Nothing. Nothing at all. I am simply talking to myself. Let us eat. Saber, you've been pretty weird today. You were even sparring weird. If you're not feeling well, you need to tell me. If you're not feeling well, you shouldn't eat the bento. I'll make you something a little easier to digest. No, that is absolutely not the case. If you start now, it will take time, and we must eat right now. So let us eat. Now, Shiro! That expression, what's gotten into her? She doesn't look ill, and it doesn't look like I'll need to make her anything special. Got it. Then I'll bring over the bento and some tea, so you two just wait here. We don't often have bento for lunch, so let's take the chance to eat here in the dojo. Yes, thank you, Shiro. Saber waves enthusiastically, sending me off. She's flustered, she's mad. Seriously, what's going on with her today? It's noon and we eat lunch. I made her a hearty breakfast, so lunch is boxed leftovers. I see. So you have taken the dishes from this morning and put them between slices of bread. Saber nods her approval as she eats her sandwich. The way she uses a paper napkin to keep her hands from getting dirty. There's such grace even in the way she eats a bento.
Yep, I realized this during breakfast. You're a good cook, Shiro. It's nice that the food is so good.
On the other end of the spectrum, Illya eagerly crams her sandwich into her mouth. I can't tell if she's just playing around or copying me. Illya seems to have better manners than Saber, except at the table. Hold it, Ilyasville. If you eat like that, your hair will get dirty. Oh wow, that's cute. Illya must have had butter smeared on the corner of her mouth or something. Saber leans in reluctantly, wiping off whatever it is.
Thanks. But what's the big idea? I thought you didn't like me, Saber.
I am wary of you, yes, but even I understand people's feelings. You have no hostility, and Shiro has accepted you as a guest. That is why I will show you a bare minimum of courtesy. And besides, this is a really cute image.
Besides?
Your hair is beautiful. It pains me to see it getting so dirty.
Huh. Shiro's still mine, you know? Well, I could maybe consider being a little friendly with you. I can make Shiro win, but I can't protect him after all.
Illya shrugs and takes another bite of her sandwich. You do not need to remind me. It is the duty of a servant to be their master's shield. Saber responds plainly enough as they eat. Their conversation hasn't changed much, but at least they sound calmer. As we relax after finishing our meal, Tosaka comes in.
Shiro, are you here? I'm ready, so come by as soon as you can.
Her message delivered, Tosaka heads straight back to the outbuilding. Alright, I forgot. Tosaka was going to teach me magecraft in the afternoon. I've never had a proper teacher, so Tosaka's magecraft lectures have been really helpful. She seems to be willing to keep teaching, so I should clean up here quickly and head over to her. Sorry, but I'm going to head over to Tosaka's room. Is Illya going to come to that? I'm not sure how long it's going to take, so you two should go back to your rooms and rest.
Okay. I'm a little tired, so I'll take a nap.
Illya walks out of the dojo, rubbing her sleepy eyes. That's a relief. As long as Illya goes to sleep, I don't think there's any problem with me going to Tosaka's room. Shiro, are you going to go to Reen's room? Yeah, I just said that. Tosaka's teaching me the basics of magecraft. Does she want to come? Is that really necessary? With Berserker gone, there are no more enemies that require our alliance to defeat. Well, it's not an alliance really anymore, because Tosaka's no longer in the running. It's actually now she's just on our side, you know? Would that not mean there is nothing more for you to learn from Rin? She might be right. Tosaka's lessons were originally meant to help me when we went up against Berserker. So with him gone, there's no reason for her to teach me anything else. No, Berserker or not, I still do want to learn from her. There's still so much I don't know about, I don't know as a mage, and I'd like to fix that as soon as I can. I see. If you insist, then I have no business stopping you. Huh? Saber looks sullen as she says this. I don't want you seeing other women.
Okay, time to start my lesson. First though, is anything broken?
That's how she began. It's kind of an odd question to ask the moment I arrive. Broken? Like what?
I'm asking if any part of you isn't working. Your dick, for one? You did some wild stuff, so you must have burned out a nerve or two. Not to say I care, I just figured it'd be hard to teach you unless I knew whether there was anything wrong.
According to Tosaka, some parts of me should be numb. But since I'm the one living in my body, I can say she's wrong. Nope. Everything working fine. The headache and fever are gone now that I've had a night's sleep. I feel fine.
What? That can't be true. Did you forget the part where you projected Saber's sword? That would have cost a normal person their arm.
Guess not me, but I told you I'm fine. Maybe because of Avalon? Besides, if my body wasn't working, I wouldn't have been able to carry Illya back to my house. At that point, the only thing wrong with me was a headache and a fever. Also, thank you for clarifying in the comments that Avalon heals whoever has a contract with the servant, or whoever has Avalon and is close by, I believe is the whole thing. So the reason I kept thinking about the close by thing was because of Irisfield in Fate Zero, where she had to be close to Saber for it to work. But that's because Irisfield wasn't contracted with Saber. Kiritsugu was. So I believe that is the case. So since Shiro has Avalon within him and is contracted to Saber, he just has that healing factor just in general.
But that's not possible! Shiro, show me your arm!
She tugs me on the arm before I can reply, then stares at it. I realize I'm holding my breath. I may have gotten used to her being around, but I'm definitely not used to her being so close.
It really does look like there's nothing wrong. I see a few places that are black, like they're burned or bruised, but other than that, everything's healed. It's almost like the flesh grew back like new.
Tosaka mutters quietly to herself as she inspects my arm. Hey! As if that weren't enough to leave me beet red.
Your body really is unbelievable. This isn't how normal healing works. Your natural healing is obviously being bolstered by something external, but this... you healed this yourself.
Rin lifts my sleeve up, pressing her fingers all along my arm. Hey, stop! That's enough, Tosaka. Go sit back down if you're done.
Huh? I'm examining you, you know? Oh, I get it.
Tosaka leans closer to me.
You say your fever's gone down, but I'm not so sure. Your face is glowing.
That's for me to worry about. It's none of your business, so leave me alone.
Oh, really? Then I suppose me doing this won't be a problem, right?
Don't put your hand on my forehead. I don't have a fever, so there's no point to this.
No, apparently not. Even your ears are red now. You don't look like you have a fever. Looks more like you're drunk.
She's doing this on purpose. This is deliberate, I know it. Tosaka, you know exactly what you're doing, don't you?
You got me. I was just enjoying your reactions. Too funny.
Anyone who would toy with a man's innocent feelings like that should do their repentance in hell. Jesus.
Well, I'll stop teasing here. If I push it, I might end up having to suffer the consequences.
That's a problem. I feel like Tosaka's only teasing me harder now. Tosaka, might I remind you that this is serious and I'm here to learn from you?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's been my intention from the start. I was only checking on my student's health just now.
Oh yeah? So are you gonna get to the day's topic then?
Yes, I suppose so. We're stepping outside my specialty here, so I can only offer advice, but it's better than if I didn't say anything at all. To be honest, the last lesson I gave you was probably the last of the help I can offer. You can't just learn to be a mage in a few lessons. All I did was install a switch inside you that you hadn't learned to use. You know that much at least, right? You mean that jewel? Yeah. Ever since I swallowed it, I've been able to turn my magic circuits on and off without creating them from scratch every time. Yep, that's about the only thing I can teach you in such a short time. But even that was just your previous training asserting itself. I can only boost the magecraft you've already learned. I'm not going to teach you other forms of magecraft. You just don't have the talent. Yeah, you being so blunt about this is enlightening. But you can at least give me some advice about the magecraft that I can use, right? So tell me what kind of magecraft I used last night. Tosaka, doesn't answer. She's just glaring at me like I'm her worst enemy. Tosaka? This is supposed to be lecture, right? I get nervous when you go all quiet like that. I'm hiccuping a lot. She looks away, frowning. It's only a brief flicker of her expression, though. I can't do projection magecraft, and I can't teach someone something I don't know how to do. Huh? Something you can't do? Wasn't what I used up against Berserker pretty basic for a mage? No, dude, you created fucking Excalibur. I just imagined a structure and let magical energy flow into it. It's no different than strengthening magecraft, but flooding your own magical energy into something that's already formed is difficult. It's like adding what you think is red into an existing mixture of paints to draw out the red hue, only to end up with something completely different color. Excuse me. By comparison, it's much easier to work with my own paint from the very beginning. I can just draw out whatever I want that way. What do you mean you can't do it? I'm sure you can do that kind of thing. It's much easier than strengthening. You know, if you said that to any other mage, they'd definitely kill you. What you did was called projection, and you perfectly replicated a noble phantasm. I've never heard of anyone doing that before. A chill runs down my spine. It's not my imagination. Tosaka's actually angry. It doesn't matter. I had a feeling this was the case when I saw all the junk in your shed. There's no point in being mad about you at this stage. Let me explain, because you're clearly confused. What you did was called projection magecraft. It's an imperfect magecraft that creates mere images of existing artwork or famed swords using your own magical energy. It's generally used to create temporary objects to be used as stand-ins for rituals. Things you create from images in your mind are understood to be imaginary objects, so they disappear quickly. Huh? I get that they're replicas created from a mental image. I saw Saber's sword in my dream and imagined the golden sword based on it. I don't really get it. Magical energy's like clay, right? Reproduction or no, what you make shouldn't disappear once the object takes form, right? That's not possible! Magical energy can only exist within your body. That's why you pass magical energy through yourself. You need it to interact with nature. Sure, I can knead magical energy like a piece of soft candy to at least make a dagger. But it stops there. It's nothing more than candy in the shape of a dagger. As soon as the magical energy dissipates, the dagger disappears too. Listen, things made purely from magical energy do not last long. They only briefly take shape. Well, but projection magecraft creates an object to look and perform like the original. Huh. She's right. Magical energy has no shape. I can feel it while it's flowing through my body. Once it leaves, it thins out and eventually disappears entirely. But then no matter how many blueprints I make in my mind and form with magical energy, everything will fade because it's all made from magical energy. Now that I think about it, when Kiritsugu was teaching me magecraft, I showed him my half-assed attempt at projection. But he told me to stick with strengthening because what I was doing instead was inefficient.
I see. So projection consumes a lot of magical energy, and there's no point in using it because what you make disappears immediately. Exactly. For example, let's say you use a decent amount of magical energy to create a sword. All that energy you use might get you a sword whose power we'd rate at maybe a 3 or 4. A human's imagination is unreliable, filled with holes, so it's almost impossible to replicate anything accurately. Now let's say you use the same magical energy to strengthen a sword. That same amount of magical energy can make the sword 20 to 30 times stronger, which means it would last a few hundred times longer than anything you create with projection. Got it? Projection magecraft is only used for rituals. Its sole use is creating replicas which disappear the moment they're used, and then only as a substitute for tools you can't normally create or get hold of. Your father made the right call teaching you strengthening. You only have so many magic circuits to begin with, so if he taught you something as wasteful as projection, he'd be no better than an amateur himself. I got that, but what was that then? The golden sword I imagined was real for a moment, and it even had the real sword's power. Huh. Was it just a freak accident that I projected a saber sword then? Now that I think about it, the amount of magical energy in that sword was remarkable. Replicating something that ends up with a few hundred times the magical energy I myself have does seem pretty weird. Well, you have an affinity for swords. Mages all have connections to something. For you, it's clearly swords. Connections? You mean elements like fire or water? Right. Normally a person takes one of the elements that make up this world. The Mages Association considers fire to be normal, wind to be noble. It could be earth, water, wind, fire, or ether. Or it could be wood, fire, soil, metal, or water. A mage has a connection to one of these, but there are also those with more specific connections. Most of these mages don't see any time in the spotlight, they're considered unusual. So in your case, you're connected with swords. It's pretty specific, but that means you could be the authority in swords. I see. That's probably true. I've always been fascinated with swords. Now I'm curious about Tosaka's specialty. Knowing her, it's probably fire or wind or something else that'd suit someone like her, but I should probably just ask since I'm curious. Hey Tosaka, I'm curious. What's your specialty? Storing energy. I don't know if that's the same thing. I think that's just her type of magic, but it doesn't mean that's her specialty. My connection is with the 5 elements. All 5? Does she mean all of them? Anyway, that's pretty much that. They say the projection is about as useful as the images on a screen, so try not to use it too much. Besides, trying to replicate Saber's sword was suicidal. You made it work this time, but I wouldn't be surprised if you just exploded. You said it yourself. Saber's sword has more magical energy than you ever could. You do realize that creating something like that goes way beyond the limits of your magical circuits, right? Yeah, I know. But it's not so easy to go beyond your own limits, right? I thought I couldn't go any further anyway because I was already at my limit to begin with. Oh, you absolutely can, and death is always lurking right around that corner. If magecraft follows a certain form or format, it means any mage can use any magecraft they have knowledge of. Even if they're not ever actually able to pull off that miracle, they'll still take a shot. Mages are only a source of power. Even a small engine can reach a high speed if you push gas hard enough, but it tends to be self-destructive. Same with mages. If they're willing to accept the risk of destroying themselves, mages can certainly push past their limits. Doing so burns magic circuits and shreds nerves, but if they keep going, they can reach the miracle they seek. Your projection is just that. Your body felt feverish after the battle because your nerves were seared. That's the price you pay for magecraft beyond your own means. What you did could easily have cost you a limb or two. Tosaka's voice grows a little louder, but at the same time. That's why you should always keep in mind, practice magecraft that goes beyond its caster's limits leads only to ruin. Promise me you won't project Saber's sword ever again. I don't know, it's pretty cool. Tosaka's worried about me, genuinely. He didn't promise. We cut away. After her warning, Tosaka prescribes me some medicine that I'm not familiar with. Well, there's probably no point telling you not to push yourself. At least for our peace of mind, take that painkiller if anything happens. If it all goes well, your bruised and discolored skin might heal. Tosaka explains this as she prepares some kind of green powdery medicine. I drink it with some tea. Tosaka rummages through her stuff and tries to prescribe some other medicine. Anyway, I feel bad for Tosaka having to go through all this stuff just for me, but I feel like I'm wasting time just sitting here. I should... Question 1. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I don't think she wants me to talk about projection. Because she just said don't fucking do it. What's question 1 mean? Now that I think about it, there's one thing I don't understand. Why wasn't Tosaka just crushed during our battle with Berserker? Yeah, interesting. What sort of trickery did she use? Hey Tosaka, can I ask you about something that happened yesterday? What is it? Make it quick, I'm busy. Okay. So Berserker grabbed you. I'm just wondering how you survived. You don't look like it, but do you work your abs or something? If ripped abs were all I needed to survive Berserker's grip, my stomach would be harder than steel. Sorry, that was the wrong way to ask. I apologize, so please stop grinning at me like that. Then stop provoking me. As to how I survived, I placed a jewel on my stomach before the fight. I snuck it into my clothes to create a protective barrier around me. Got it? Oh, I see. I see, so you expected Berserker to grab you from the get-go. Makes sense then, planning to protect yourself. But that means your jewels... I'm all tapped out. I used 1 for Saber, 3 to distract Berserker, 5 to blow his face off, and 1 to protect myself. 10 years I spent saving those up, and they all went in an instant. Even after using most of them, I still couldn't defeat Berserker. In spite of her dejected sigh, Tosaka doesn't seem to regret what happened. What's done is done. She knows very well not to dwell on what she lost, but to focus on what she gained in exchange. I see. Sorry about that, Tosaka. Thanks. But I'm going to learn from this, and make Gemisetta let me defeat an enemy like that all on my own. She's blunt as ever about that. I'm trying to sip without it making a weird noise. I think I'm running low on water. I mean, that's still a decent amount. It's this fucking straw. This straw, something about the straw in the bottle. I don't know what happened, but at some point, this straw stopped being an effective straw and started sucking. And like, I mean, I know its job is to suck, I get it. But like, I feel like these days, oh, there is a hole in this thing here. I wonder if that's why. I wonder if that, oh fuck, I just spilled some water all over myself. I'm doing some experiments now. I'm just trying to see. Like, what's stopping this from working properly? Hold on. Okay, I just kind of took the bottle apart and put it back together, and I can't really tell. Now I'm almost out of water in this, so I can't actually tell if I fixed the straw or not. But fine, let's just play the game. She's as blunt as ever about that. So it's interesting. I just realized that I can like bring my mouse to the bottom of the screen to make the text disappear and then bring it up. I'd always seen that happen, but I thought what had happened is like I was clicking Alt or something and it was making the text disappear, and the only way to get it back would be to click to the next line. But that's not the case. It's about where my mouse is. I see. That's so useful to know that now, because I'd been curious about why that kept happening every time I Alt tabbed. But I'm also sure she'll manage it. And then I realize Tosaka's the reason we won against Berserker. I mean, you're all the reason. All of you did your part. And after giving me several medications, Tosaka instructs me to do simple strengthening exercises while we keep an eye on how my body reacts. Apparently, she's checking to see that nothing goes wrong inside me when we use magical energy. Honestly, Tosaka seems more like a doctor more than a teacher today.
Okay, there don't seem to be any problems. You probably don't need to come here tomorrow then.
That's a bit of a surprise. I don't have to come tomorrow. That means...
Yep, there's nothing else I can teach you. If you want to focus on learning magecraft, you should do it after the war.
Okay, cool.
Besides, with Archer gone, my alliance with you is long over.
Well, if this is true, this is good. Because I feel like at this point, like, I don't mind these scenes. I think they're decent. But there's a lot of them. And they're all, you know, just a way for the writer to be able to, like, give you exposition about how the magic works. But since I at least know, like, the whole thing she was saying about projection magic being just generally not as good as a strengthening magic, it's not worth the mana that he put into it, blah blah blah. Like, they said all that in the anime, so I know most of the stuff that she's saying anyway, and it gives me more specifics that I didn't know, but like, they're long scenes for it. So if this actually is gonna be like, hey, this is the last of these scenes, then I'll appreciate that. I think that's good. I suddenly realized our alliance was only so we could defeat Berserker. Well, you realized that earlier today when Saber said that. Now that Berserker's gone and Tosaka doesn't have a servant anymore, our living arrangement should be over. Should have ended yesterday even. So what are you going to do now, Tosaka? Are you going to go to Kotomine's place? That'd probably be the normal thing to do. Tosaka and Father Kotomine are student and disciple, so it shouldn't be an issue for her to go asking him for protection. Why? Of course I'm not going there. I haven't lost yet. There's no reason I can't fight without a servant. Besides, running away isn't really my style. I decided to fight, so I'm seeing this through to the end. She says this like it should be the most obvious thing in the world, and she's proud about that. My eyes widen. Well, okay, maybe not. I should have expected this from Tosaka. She's unbelievably stubborn, absolutely selfish, and captivatingly brilliant. Then what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go out on your own now? There are still servants and masters left. Let's see. I think I'll stay here a while to gather information. I should resume my research on Ryudo Temple too. You're gonna stay here? Are you sure? It'd be a big help if you stayed, but our alliance ended, so... What are you talking about? We managed to beat Berserker thanks to Archer. Our alliance may have ended, but you still owe me, and that's why you're obviously going to let me use your place until you fully repaid your debt. Besides, I said I would take responsibility until the end. You and I were teacher and student, even if it was brief. I'd be so worried about you if I left you to your devices, I wouldn't be able to concentrate on the Holy Grail War. Alright. It feels like a lifetime ago, so I'd nearly forgotten, but I've admired Rin because of exactly those qualities for a long time now. So I'm actually very happy. That's the Tosaka I've always known and liked. Besides, if I ever saw the day a girl as stubborn as her gives up, I wouldn't know what to believe from then on. Yeah, thanks for sticking around, Tosaka. Whatever else I might say, I wouldn't know what to do without you. Saber and I need you, Tosaka. That's fine, but don't say stuff like that. You're stupidly honest, yeah, but be careful about what you say. You could give people the wrong idea. Now she's the flustered one, huh? I'm not sure why that upset Tosaka so much. Tosaka, what do you mean I might give people the wrong idea? What wrong idea? Unbelievable. It just wasn't appropriate, okay? And my whole attitude should make clear I don't want you asking, so drop it. Tosaka must be aware of some secret rule I'm not. Good grief. I feel bad. Saber's got it tough. But then again, that's probably why you two work. You and Saber both have to be pretty freaking dense or else you'd never last. Okay, I still don't get it. But I didn't miss what you said about feeling bad for Saber. What do you mean she has it tough? This is exactly what I'm talking about. I bet you haven't even noticed the changes in Saber. Changes in Saber? Yes, you have. It's not about her appearance, right? If anything would have changed in Saber. Alright, she has been acting weird since this morning. Oh, I just thought she was in a bad mood because Illya was with us. She just sat there all stiff and quiet. And when I asked if there was something wrong, she just get up and left, saying something about having had a dream. And I pretty much forgot about it all, the hustle and bustle over Illya. Yeah, Saber's been a little off since this morning, like her head's somewhere else. Saber said she had a dream. That's the bit that surprises you? Servants can't dream. Now she's ignoring me. Hey, don't get quiet on me. That face you're making has me nervous. Oh, it's nothing major. It's just that servants don't typically dream. Huh? Servants don't dream? That's right. Servants don't dream. But if she says she did, then it wasn't a dream. It was someone's memory. Maybe Tosaka's experienced it before. The coldness in her voice runs so counter to her usual cheerfulness. And now it's time to prepare dinner. With so much happening these past few days, I thought the whole cooking rotation had gone out the window, but then... I'll leave dinner to you tonight. Looks like it's going to be a cold night. Between that and Illya being here, maybe you can make stew. She steps out of the room as she speaks. Oh yeah, I guess stew would be perfect for Illya. Maybe it's the hat and coat she wears that makes me think that. Whatever the case, I don't have a problem making stew for dinner. I'm no expert at Western dishes like stew, but I don't think I can really mess something like that up. Oh, but before that, it's a little before 6 o'clock. I still have some time before I need to cook. We had training, so I've done my share of sweating today. Seems like now would be a good time to take a bath. Taking a bath before dinner might be a hassle, but Tosaka and Saber usually do it right after dinner, so it would be pretty late by the time it was my turn. The hallway is cold. The heaters have the rooms nice and warm, but once I'm out in the hallway I can feel the wintry chill. Fuyuki's winters are typically warm, but the weather's been screwy these past few days. Speaking of cold, it looks like it snowed. I must not have noticed because it only lasted for less than an hour, and it didn't snow a large amount. If there had been much snow on the ground, my yard would be packed with an entire army of snowmen, which really sucks to clean up. In that sense, I'm glad it didn't snow much. Of course, the snowman army would be the work of a single person. I can't help but smile as I remember when it snowed last year, and her cold red and tanned hands gripped the lectern. Aww. Huh? I was thinking of taking a shower, but the bathroom's already warm. Shiro? Another shower scene? I hear something moving in water. Is she in a bath? I strain my eyes, trying to see the bathtub through the haze of steam. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! An actual bath scene with Saber. My mind goes as blank as the white sheets of steam filling the bathroom. My throat closes up. I can't get a word out. My brain stops working. I'm paralyzed. But in the back of my mind, I recall something similar happening. Actually, the exact same thing has already happened. Last time I was dressed and Saber wasn't. Not this time, but this time she's embarrassed about it. Oh, Saber! The only sound is my own loud gulping. Saber just freezes, watching me as I stand there dumbfounded. She's going to get mad. Here it comes. She didn't get mad last time. Why do you think that? I'm gonna die. Her soft lips begin to tremble. Any second now she's gonna start yelling. Why do you think that? Sorry, it's my fault. I was going to use a shower, but I didn't think anyone would be using the bathroom at this hour. But yeah, I should have figured it out earlier, but... I ramble out a lame excuse as I step backward, trying to head back to the changing room. It's not that I'm gawking at Saber, but for some reason it feels like making a mad dash for the changing room would just make Saber angrier. The truth of the matter is I can't take my eyes off of her. I remember the night of the ruins. I remember Saber's warmth, how close she was. Her body was so frail and slender. The heat of our bodies, even our heartbeats mingled, overlapped. At the time, I was just desperate to fix a problem. But now it all feels so tempting. Anyway, we can talk later. I try to reach behind me for the exit, and then... My apologies, Shiro. I do know this is a selfish request, but would you mind leaving right now? I thought she was going to ask us to help. Like, wash my back for me or something, like a classic anime thing. Saber reverts her gaze, her voice oddly muffled. Now I really don't know what to think. I'm not sure why Saber isn't mad. Seeing how embarrassed she looks causes blood to pound in my skull. Why? The words come out before I can stop myself. Why? Saber looks down even more apologetically. Please, wait a little longer to use the shower. Please permit me to use this space alone for the time being. Saber shrinks in on herself, hiding her body. And then I suddenly remember, when I ran into her at the changing room last time, Saber didn't say anything. Sex does not matter for servants. She'd said that. Appearances hadn't mattered to her. Oh, well, you see... Hold on, I can't find the right words. My head's spinning. Okay, make a decision. Either lean in on the, on the flirting with Saber, or pull back and leave the room immediately like she requested. You can't just, stand there and stutter and just stare at her the whole time. Come on, work, brain. So, you're not mad, Saber? There's nothing wrong with you wanting to wash yourself. I have no right to limit my master's activities. I get it. Saber doesn't care what she looks like, or whether she has clothes on or not. That's why it's not weird for me to be here. The bathroom is a place to wash one's body, so my presence isn't strange. Alright, how about you wash my body for me? It doesn't matter whether Saber's here or not. Knowing that helps, but I have a feeling I'm wrong. So then, I don't think it would be a problem if I use a shower right now, you know. What the fuck, really? But I am saying, well, she asked you politely if she could have it. I'm not concerned about being seen, but my body is not that of a younger girl like Green. So, she blushes even more. Is she just, self-conscious? She blushes even more, tripping over her words. By the way, what's that pose? That hand pose? Doing this? It's strange. Why is she doing that? Maybe they just used a reference, like they had someone take a picture as a reference, and whoever the person taking the picture was doing that pose, and it felt natural to them. I do not want you to seem too much of me. A man like you must find such a muscular body as mine unsightly. Haven't we said that her body is actually pretty lean? Not super muscular? She sounds so bashful. I almost faint for just so many reasons. You fool! I would never think that. Saber's body is a long way from unsightly. She says she's rugged, but that's never bothered me. Sure, she's much more muscular than Tosaka, but still, I still think Saber's very feminine. Shiro, that is why I would like you to leave me alone here. I don't know how I responded. I only remembered nodding slightly and pulling the door closed. Crazy stuff. And so the day ends. Dinner was chaotic. Illya got chattier with each meal, and so she and Tosaka have gotten to this weird point where I'm not sure whether they're fighting or being friendly. Saber's accepted Ilya's presence here, but she hasn't warmed up to her. More than that, Saber gets pretty frowny whenever Illya gets near me. These past few days have just been plain rough. The normal routine of just a few days ago has devolved into complete chaos. I step silently out into the yard. It's just about time for the calendar to roll over to the next day. I walk beneath the pale light of the moon, leaving faint puffs of white breath in my wake. Next thing I know, I'm at work on my daily routine. I don't really need to train out here since Tosaka's teaching me, but I still sit on the cold ground and check on the things I've been working on for so long. I'm not doing this because I'm worried about my skills. It's more that I find doing it soothing. I've been doing it for years, so just not doing it would feel weird. Trace. On. I put even more effort into tonight's training. Tosaka told me not to do it anymore, but I can't just do as she says. If I can master this projection thing, it means I could be a lot more helpful to Saber, and the heat from earlier is still lingering within me. The night at the ruins, the battle in the forest in the morning mist, the golden sword I created, the residual heat still lingers on my hands, and deep down I find myself hoping I would be able to reignite those flames. Creation philosophy, appraisal. It's easy to recreate. At the time I was so desperate that my mind was a jumble, but now I can retrace the necessary steps and form my incantation. No, from the very beginning there's only been a single thing that could serve as a trigger for me. The pronunciation is the same, but just by changing my perception of how it is said, it will become something entirely mine, my own original spell. Basic structure. Hypothesis. I know very well how dangerous this is. Tosaka doesn't need to remind me. I really have no business getting anywhere near the projection magecraft. It's completely beyond me. Venturing so brazenly into dangerous waters can lead only to death. End of hypothesis. Now, instant nothingness. I erase the blueprint that was in my head. A shadow falls across the door. Saber comes in, her frame blotting out the light of the moon. She's still naked. Good. You were here, Shiro. I could not find you and was worried something might have happened. No, nothing's happened. I couldn't sleep, so I came here to do some mental exercises. Once I've finished, I'll head back to my room, so you don't need to worry. I see. That is fine then. Saber focuses on my forehead. She can probably see that I'm dripping with sweat. It's always like this, don't worry. Mages have to practice their magecraft, and, well, failure comes with the territory for an amateur like me. I wipe the sweat from my brow with the back of my hand. Oh, I'm surprised. My sweat is cold as ice. I thought it was cold, but I don't remember the shed being quite this cold. Shiro, have you been doing this every day? Well, yeah. As much as I possibly could. It's a daily routine my old man taught me, so I should at least keep to it. As soon as I finish speaking, I regret my bluff. I regret telling her this is my daily routine. My intent was to boast to Saber. At the end of the day, my training isn't just some chore for me, but it isn't the easiest of tasks either. Saber says nothing. The moon hangs behind her, and its light spilling out around her frame. The shed, plunged into the bluish darkness, is illuminated by the few shafts of silvery light that make it past Saber. I recall the first night I met her. Saber, Tosaka said something to me today. That moment just felt like a dream. Is it true that servants don't dream? I can't stop myself from asking. I'm gonna go fill up my water before she says any of this. That is correct. We do not have dreams. Servants are spiritual forms, and so do not sleep to begin with. I am forced to sleep because I cannot turn into spiritual form, but I still do not dream. But this morning, you said... There's a brief silence. She closes her eyes, then apparently having made up her mind. The dream I had, Shiro, was yours. Master and servant are mentally connected. If the connection becomes strong enough, there are times when they will experience each other's memories. You dreamed of my past? Yes. It is tantamount to stepping into your mind, but I was not able to prevent it from happening. Please forgive me for that, Shiro. Aww. Don't. I did the same thing. Saber's past. I've seen several scenes from her life before she became a servant now. Don't be silly. That's not your fault. You can't help what you dream about. And I have to apologize too. My past is pretty boring. Seeing something that boring probably makes you not want to have to sleep. No. This morning was the first such dream I had. I did not see anything recent, so I did not infringe on your privacy as a young man. Saber's dead serious about that warning. I have not yet seen any scenes of you masturbating. But privacy? Well, yeah, sure, I've done my share of dumb things. That's a relief, but if you're saying you didn't see any recent memories, then how far into the past did you see? There was a large fire. That is all I saw. Her voice is quiet. Her gentle gaze tells me what she saw. Well, and what she said. Oh. That dream. I see. Well, I don't know what to say. Should I say it was unfortunate? It's like going to a movie theater expecting to see the movie you know, but you somehow end up in the wrong theater and end up getting a completely different show. It helped me to understand. No, I have been thinking this for some time now, but you have a dangerous side to you. Huh? What do you mean dangerous? Well, yeah, I'm sure the odds are plenty stacked against me from your point of view. That is not what I mean. You are very similar to me. That is why I understand your mistakes. I can see what might happen to you if you continue on this path. I don't think I've made any mistakes. Sure, I've failed plenty of times, but my goal is to be a champion of justice like my old man. A goal like that can't be a mistake. No way. I am telling you that is your mistake. Shiro, what happened on that day was not your fault. You cannot and should not take responsibility for it. There is nothing you need redeem yourself for. That's obvious. It was just an accident, and I was just a victim. Sure, I may be dealing with survivor's guilt, I was about to say that. Reen once said that your self-sacrifice and devotion are bizarre, and I agree. You are not sacrificing your life to save others. In fact, at no point did you even consider your own life. Oh, cool. Maybe my pupils have dilated. I'm not sure why, but I can't seem to focus on Saber's face. You will never be able to forget that accident, but as long as you remember it, you cannot change. Is that not extremely painful for you? Painful? For me? Well, yeah, that's painful. Saber doesn't have to remind me of that. It's obvious. So many people died, it was absolute hell. Something like that causing you pain is only natural. And besides, if I didn't feel that, it might all be meaningless. Yeah, you're right. It is painful to remember. But it's in the past now. There's nothing I can do about it. Saber doesn't answer. Instead, she claws at her arm in frustration. I must obtain the Holy Grail. But that also applies to you, Shiro. Saber? You require the Holy Grail. You summoning me was ultimately inevitable, Master. I don't know how to respond to that. I'm going to go to bed. Please do not strain yourself overmuch. Overmuch? Crazy word. Saber leaves. I fold my arms and think. Do I need the Holy Grail? By the way, I love that music. That music, like accompanying these emotional scenes, really hits for me. A vessel that grants wishes to its possessor. A vessel which contains unlimited quantities of magical energy, for which it is said nothing is impossible. Were I to get it, it could easily grant my wish. No, that's wrong. No matter how I look at it, I don't need the Holy Grail. Nope, I definitely don't need it. Because I don't have any wishes that can't come true, or hope for anything that's impossible. I wouldn't have a dream if it weren't something I could attain myself. The night grows darker. In the familiar old shed lit only by the moon, I listen to the distant wind. Is that the end of the day? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm going to keep playing, though. Day 13. Isn't there normally like 15, 16 days, somewhere around there? So we're actually getting pretty close. Infinity Arms. Sounds similar to Unlimited Blade Works. But like I wonder, because it's weird. Like I can see this route going on for like a lot longer, or I could see it ending soon, you know? I could see either one happening. I think the thing is, knowing about Unlimited Blade Works and Heaven's Feel, it's like you already have your fair share of facing the other servants in the other routes, right? We've already done a rider fight. We've already done a berserker fight, and they were pretty big, you know. And we did do a lancer fight in this as well. And we did an assassin fight, but like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think, because like we haven't seen Caster really at all in this game, in this route. So if I'm going through them, right, Arch is dead, Rider's dead, Berserker's dead, which only leaves Caster, Assassin, and Lancer. So like, thinking about it like that, Caster and Assassin are tied together, and Lancer's his own dude. Like, we're actually... Okay, well, I mean, now that I think about it like that, we're actually really close to the end. Because that's only 3 servants, and 2 of them are connected. Like, if we beat Caster, then we've beat Assassin as well, basically, right? Theoretically. And then Lancer... I mean, the thing is, like, what is the end of this gonna be? Because I guess maybe Gilgamesh could come out of the woodwork and he could be a major thing. But like, Gilgamesh is the final boss of Unlimited Blade Works. Heaven's Feel Sakura is the final boss, and that makes sense, right? But like, in this, what could it be leading to as like the final, like, Kirei, maybe, you know? I could maybe see it just being a thing with Kirei. But I don't know, like, yeah, because I don't see Lancer being like a final boss kind of thing. And the thing about Caster is, I can kind of see Caster being a final boss. Well, I can definitely see her being a final boss if I hadn't played Unlimited Blade Works, where there's a I watched the anime of Unlimited Blade Works, where like a major arc, like up until the halfway point, she was the big boss, you know? She's like a huge villain in that one. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like the 2 routes that I've watched so far did like separate, you know, they felt very different in terms of what they covered. So yeah, I just don't know like where this, because I really thought Berserker was going to be the final boss in this one, but he's not. So I wonder. The sky is grey, the hill crimson with corpses. The heavy clouds drift away, heralding the battle's end. I know this scene. I've seen it so many times now. This is one of Saber's battles. She fought and won so many victories. Seems like this are almost commonplace for her. Afterward, she will return to her castle where her victory will be praised and celebrated. Then she'll prepare for the next battle. This is just life for her. It's only one of the 12 great battles she fought, and so she does not truly remember victory as much as she just accepts it as a fact. I think she's misguided. This is not a dream. It's just a cold reality, her past that can't be changed. The moment she drew the sword, she stopped being human. She took over for her father as a feudal lord and became a king with many knights. She was known as King Arthur and Outria. The life of the girl who once aspired to be a knight has changed so radically. No, was forced to end her life as she knew it might be a better way to put it. In that instant, the girl who still had childlike features ceased to be, and became the king of knights. She acted like she was the king's son. The ruler of territories and knights had to be male. Only her father and the mage knew the king was female. She covered herself in iron and hid that truth for the rest of her life. I don't know why I never realized the implications until now. As much public exposure as she had, she managed to pass herself off as male the whole time. The sheer suffering she'd likely endured must have been incredible, but a simple observer could never really understand. Time passes, 10 years worth of memories as king, and there was only one common thread that entire time. Even when she's on the throne, even when she's walking through the hallway, even when she's on the battlefield, not a soul spoke to her. Even the round table, filled as it was with knights boasting of their valor, always fell silent the moment the king appeared. So that's what it meant. She was merely tolerated as an idol. Many knights looked down on Altria with her boyish appearance and were ultimately not comfortable in trusting her with their blades. But because she managed to draw the sacred sword that no one else could, they had to obey, even if only to keep up appearances. They just accepted the disgrace, believed it would pass. Sacred sword or no, the king was merely a child. Even with Merlin's support, the king would surely fail eventually. When that happens, they need only to take the sacred sword from her and select a new king. That's probably what most of the knights thought. But that's not how it went. The knight, only just reaching adulthood, was a flawless king. She enforced peace among the squabbling lords and fought off invaders as well. Of course, this wasn't due to the sacred sword's powers. The sacred sword only protects the king. The king, on the other hand, protects their nation. And through her deeds, she was always able to maintain control of her knights. The sacred sword protects her only from her enemies. It does nothing to help her hold sway over the hearts of the subjects. She worked herself to the bone to be the ideal king to all. At that point, the knights had no choice but to obey. They held their dissatisfaction for the young king in check because the king was truly perfect. She strived to be an ideal king. The only condition for the knights' support was their king be exactly that, the ideal king. There was no room for Altria to be a human being. She could be a king and only a king. The peerless knight who drew the sacred sword, who stopped aging from that moment, and who went on to win 12 great wars. The more perfect she became, the more people stayed away from her. Oops. As this continued, the king grew more and more isolated. That was who she was. But she did well. In fact, she did too well. She defeated her enemies and minimized her own side's casualties. No matter the battle, sacrifices must be made, so she believed it was her duty to make sacrifices, to bolster her army and to defeat the enemy without wasting lives. She would strip the resources from one village to prepare her army, then defeat the invaders before they could strike her land, saving perhaps 10 villages. That was the king's approach, and it proved the best strategy at the time. But the knights must not have been happy. To them, only the foreign invaders should have died, and the only true victory is made without such sacrifices. There shouldn't be any need to sacrifice a territory before battle. They were going to win regardless, so the sacrifices were pointless. There wouldn't be any sacrifices, so the king's actions were a waste. I didn't know this part of the story. It was, of course, total nonsense. Once battle began, the knights spared not a thought for those little villages. No one thought twice about trampling the villages. Protecting them was never a consideration. The knights claim there's nothing to be done when the enemy destroys such villages, but to let them be destroyed is a great crime. Obviously she knew that. But a king cannot worry about their personal feelings. She had to kill her emotions to make her decisions, and her knights had to suppress their own feelings to obey. And so sacrifices are made, and that string of victories stabilizes a nation. And in return, animosity for the king grew. King Arthur just doesn't understand how people feel. So one knight was heard to say that as they left the castle. What a ridiculous story. She was expected not to be human, but they hated her precisely because she didn't have human emotions. The age of war continued. The animosity of the knights who had been dissatisfied with the king only grew more so after the knight left. They forced her to deal with every foreign and domestic enemy in hopes of pushing her over the edge. Collapse was imminent. If these many problems confronting the nation were never resolved, it would crumble. Even if all of them were to be resolved, what awaits is more of the same. But that did not concern the king. Even should she be abandoned, feared, or betrayed, she will remain steadfast, because she had long since made up her mind. She abandoned her emotions the moment she decided to draw that sword. This happened long, long ago. Knights from across the nation gathered to draw the sword from the stone, but none of them could do it, and the knights instead showcased their skill on horseback, eager to crown the best among them king. The knights flocked to the arena in droves. The sword and the stone lay outside, forgotten. From afar, it looked like more than a festival. It looked more like a festival. Even in the distance, the sound of valiant cavalrymen clashing is audible. The knights clashed in the distance, and the rock lay forgotten. What was going through the girl's mind as she stood in front of the rock? Before she realized it, an unknown mage stood behind her. Think before you take hold of that. He tries to stop her for her own good. The moment you take that sword, you will cease to be human. He also warned her that many would hate her, and that she would die a gruesome death. She must have been terrified. The mage showed her the future. He showed her the end she would meet if she drew that sword. No. It only made her all the more determined. Even after seeing that future, she gave him a firm nod. The mage asked again if that was what she wanted. I saw many people smiling, so this cannot be a mistake. Oh. She took the sword in her hand. The mage looked troubled and turned away. Miracles come at a price. You will pay with what is most precious to you. He departed with those prophetic words. That's right. She just wanted to protect everyone. But to do so, she had to abandon her desire to protect people. She cannot protect her country as its king if she still has a human heart. Even knowing this, she drew the sword. Even knowing this, she vowed to live as a king. So no matter what happens, she will remain steadfast. She abandoned her human heart. She was willing to give that up to protect her nation. Who could have known the girl made such a noble oath? She was determined to fight. Come what may, and however might end, she still decided to fight, even if an inevitable solitary doom awaited her. And her end did come. The Battle of Camlan. King Arthur set out on a campaign, and one of her knights usurped her throne, splitting the nation in two and sparking a terrible conflict. Legend has it that this battle brought an end to the knighthood and chivalry. She killed every knight who once served her and invaded the land she'd fought to defend. All the knights who followed her were gone, and her own body lay injured and immobile. There was no one left around her. As ever, nothing has changed. All she had in her heart was the pride of a king. She'd known about this ending. Still, she believed there was something to be gained from this failure, which is why she kept fighting without ever failing or disgracing herself. She had not regrets. If she were to have one, it would be seeing her nation in ruin. She raised her gaze. Maybe she would be able to see her castle in the distance from this hill. She saw only the aftermath of the battle, a dense forest, and a lake to which she must return. That's right. The hill she'd meant to charge over had become a wall she can't climb. Strength left her body. For the first time, she loosened her grip on the sacred sword. And that's where it ended. It was only natural that the dream would end there, since there's nothing beyond that moment in her memories. And that is why this end cannot be rewritten. She worked so hard, and she was resented, betrayed. Nobody understood that she loved her people more than her nation. She came to be known as a merciless king. She was never rewarded or understood. On top of the crimson-stained, sword-strewn hill, the girl sat on the edge of of death, isolated and betrayed. Damn. I thought we had seen the last of the flashbacks, but we saw one more. And even though that was going over some of the stuff we already knew, in fact, I would say most of that we already knew. But seeing the stuff about sacrifices and you know how she was perceived by her people, it's interesting. I waked to the sound of rain this morning. I grip my spinning head and sit up. It's just before 6 o'clock. The rain patters softly outside. That dream I just had. No, there's no doubt about it. It was Saber's past. It was the end of her life a long, long time ago. Nothing can change it now. I grit my teeth. I can hear them grinding. I don't know why, but I'm so mad. Damn, what the hell was that? Just thinking about it pisses me off. Her past, the fact that she didn't think anything of it. Made me think thinking the dream was nothing before. Ah, I hate it. I don't even understand why, but it's making me angry. I don't like it. I don't like it one damn bit. No matter how you slice it, her life was unfair. So unfair. She only wanted to help people. She wanted nothing for herself. But as hard as she worked, nobody understood her, not even at the very end. That really pisses me off. It's so unfair. That's right. If she worked harder than anyone, and she doesn't receive any reward, it's all just a bunch of crap. She should be rewarded for everything she's done. But how could that happen at this point? What, just tell her she did a good job? Do I tell her how wonderful she was? Of course not. Nothing so simple could do her justice. I know. There's only one answer. That's right. Win the war. If she's to be rewarded, the work she devoted her life to should be repaid. Altria needs happiness to match with the battle she fought. But then what can I do? I'm out of ideas. I don't have any idea how to make people happy. I'm so useless at this kind of thing. My entire life I've wanted to be a champion of justice, but all I ever did was lend a hand here and there. I believed everyone around me would be happy if I just helped people. Or rather, I couldn't face myself if I didn't believe that. Helping people and saving people are very much not the same thing. And if I don't understand the differences myself, I can't possibly reward Saber. Breakfast is the same as usual. I get the sense Saber and Tosaka are pretty adaptable since they've already gotten used to Illya being here.
So what are you going to do, Shiro?
There are 3 masters left. The Holy Grail War isn't exactly never-ending, so you should think about making a move soon. Always being the one reacting to everyone else isn't a good look. Tosaka's right. There's nothing wrong with me physically, and Saber's completely healed. We should be done resting as of yesterday. You're right. You say we need to make a move, but it'll have to be at night. We're gonna do the same things we've been doing during the day.
Are you serious? Well, I guess it wouldn't do us any good if we just aimlessly wander around with no information about our opponents. So Saber's going to beat you up again today.
I'm gonna continue my sword training with Saber. That's what we've been doing every day, and a master should always be prepared for battle.
Rin, what Shiro and I are doing is training. The way you phrased it may cause misunderstanding.
Well, actually, yeah, I'm gonna get beaten up by Saber in the morning, like usual.
Shiro, if you describe it that way as well, you put me in something of a difficult position.
Oh, sorry, Saber, I wasn't listening.
As I was saying, Rin's choice of words was too harsh. What is the matter with you, Shiro? You lack vigor this morning. The breakfast you prepared was also bland. Were you in the shed until late again last night?
Saber may be questioning me, but there's no real bite to it. I can sense that she trusts me, which makes it even harder to meet her gaze now. If our eyes meet, I can't help thinking of that scene on the hill.
Fine. I will put some life into you later on. So we're going to be training in the dojo again today, alright?
Yeah. What about you, Illya?
Me? I'll do the same as yesterday. I don't like getting all wet in the rain, so I don't want to go outside.
Got it. That's perfect. I'd rather you stay in the house since it's dangerous to go outside.
Yeah, if you make bento again like yesterday, I wouldn't mind joining you.
It seems like Illya took a liking to the bento yesterday. I'm a little embarrassed that something so simple pleased her, but at the same time I'm glad to know Illya enjoyed the bento I made.
Oh, so it'll be exactly the same as yesterday. I'm going to my room, I have some things to look up, but come by in the afternoon, there's something I want to talk to you about.
Are you researching something?
Yep. I think you might have noticed, but something's been going on at Ryudo Temple since yesterday. They've been collecting magical energy really diligently this whole time, but that's stopped. Something's definitely going on. And I think that of the remaining masters, our biggest threat is the one at Ryudo Temple. I'll send out a familiar and try to find out what's going on inside.
Then should you not focus on your investigation? I do not see any need for you to take your time off to teach Shiro. She's not.
Well then I'm sorry, but you're just going to have to bear with me on that.
I'm still worried about Shiro, so I can't leave him to his own devices. Well, she just said she wanted to talk about something, but aren't our lessons over? It might be one thing for him to die at the hands of an enemy, but since I'm his teacher, it'd bother me if he did something dumb and got himself killed because he messed up his magecraft or something. Yes, you are absolutely correct. Something must have been wrong with me. I do not know why I would have believed your lessons to be unnecessary, because you're jealous. Oh, the reasoning there is pretty simple, but best not talk about it. Well, good luck with your morning training. Shiro's pretty resilient, so it's probably best if you just beat him within an inch of his life. And with that, Tosaka leaves the room. Saber, take what Tosaka says with a grain of salt. She can say that because she's never been hit by you. I'll tell her just in case. For some reason, she seems pleased. Don't worry, I know. I understand your body better than she does. She responds calmly. How much do you know about my body? Anyway, I'll probably wrap it up there. That's probably a good place to wrap it up. So yeah, we're on day 13. Let's see what our flowchart looks like. Okay, looks pretty standard. Pretty standard looking flowchart. I mean, when you don't have like the other options, then like, yeah, it's just gonna look like this. But like, there's no, we haven't had any like relationship-y choices recently. Here's it enlarged a bit. Very interesting. Oh, that's the prologue up there. Okay, I see. Okay, cool. Well, that's it for now. Day 13. I wonder what next. I wonder if next video is gonna be just a bunch more training and talking about stuff, or if we're gonna like actually be getting into Ryudo Temple stuff, doing that fight. I wonder if the Ryudo Temple, like if Lancer will just show up and it'll just be the final fight. You know. I'm not sure. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.